All right, but anyway, so here's the gist, guys. So Quackity hit me up, and he was like, Bad, I really want to meet up with you. I'm so desperate to meet up with you. You're the tallest, most skilled Minecraft player I know, and I really want to meet up with you. And I was like, Quackity. Look, listen, I understand you're really passionate, but like, come on, there's enough, we'll figure out like a time to meet up. And he's literally like, no, Bad, I want to meet up now. So I was like, okay, just for you, Quackity, like, we'll meet up, and while we meet up, like, I can like get emotionally and mentally ready to like meet up with Skeppy, right? And that was sort of like the preamble to me and him meeting up. So anyway, so we agreed, him and I, basically, it's interesting because we both were going to be visiting, like, or at least I was heading to a specific, like, location, right, that I had to already drive, like, really far, and Quackity was like, oh my goodness, Bad, I literally have some people that I know who live there, or something like that. He may have been making an excuse or whatever, but he's like, what if I just come and meet you while you're on the road traveling? And it's like, that'd be great, let's do it. So we put this together, okay? Him and I, we go there. I get there, I get settled in my hotel, I've got Rat. He gets there, he gets settled in his hotel, he doesn't have Rat. And then I'm like, all right, I call him up and I'm like really nervous, right? I've only met a handful of my online friends who I've met online, IRL. And he was, I've known Quackity for a long time, really can't stand the guy. But, no, I'm kidding. I've known Quackity for a really long time. And I was like, he was one of the people I really wanted to meet up with. And so I was really kind of nervous, like, oh my goodness, I'm going to meet up with Quackity, which is really kind of funny. It's really funny how people who you start off with sort of like, I would say an interesting relationship, eventually become friends with them. It's kind of funny because like with Quackity, like we really like hit it off in an interesting way. And then we became friends off of that. I just find it kind of funny. And meeting him in person, I'll tell more about this later, but meeting Quackity in person just made me appreciate the type of person he is more. Like, it's weird. Now that I met Quackity IRL, I like him a lot more now than I did before I met him. Like, there's something about it. Like, I've had really long conversations and talks with Quackity, but there's something about that in-person connection that, I gotta say, Quackity is pretty darn awesome. And it's just really he's just, if I had to describe, like, find the right words to it, I'd say Quackity is just a treat. He's just a treat of an individual to, like, talk to. He's a very good listener. He's extremely courteous when you're talking to him. Basically the exact opposite of how he is when he's messing with me. No, I'm kidding. No, all joking aside, Quackity is pretty awesome, and I cannot emphasize how I think fortunate it was for me to meet up with him. I was very happy, and I do look forward to meeting up with Quackity again in the future at some point. I'm gonna arrange a time to meet up. So anyway, so we meet up. I ended up going to the place he was staying at, and I go and I head there, and I'm like, hey man, like, I'm here. He's like, okay, here's the room I'm in. I go to the room he's in. And I knock on the door. I'm like, Quackity. And he's like, he comes and peers through the people. And he's like, who's that? Who is that? There's someone here trying to rob us. I was like, Quackity, it's me, BadBoyHalo. He's like, I don't know who you are, go away, or something like that. I can't remember what he said, but he immediately started being himself and messing with me. And I was like, dang it, Quackity, open the door. So he ended up finally opening the door, and he immediately, and I'm just being real, chat, I do not like hugs. Like, if I'm being honest, I despise hugs. Like I just don't like them. Not a fan. Never been a fan of hugs. I could go my whole life without ever having a hug again. And he immediately comes in. He's like, come here. And he goes in for a hug. And I was just like, And I'm glad he did. I'm really glad he did, because it immediately, like, broke the ice in a way that, like, only a hug can do. And so it immediately, like, all my nerves, like, and how nervous I was at meeting up, just melted away. And I wasn't nervous anymore. And then it was just like, oh, I'm just hanging out with a friend, is the way it felt. And that's really cool. So that's one good thing I think hugs are, is hugs are the ultimate icebreaker. And even though I don't like them, or at least I would say I don't prefer them, I could probably honestly say I do like hugs. I do think they're nice. It is nice to be hugged once in a while, you know? You get that hug. There's something about a hug that just, it's nice. You know what I mean? Anyone who, like, even people, I think, if you're anti-hug in here, you can kind of pick up what I'm putting down. You understand what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? All the people who don't like hugs in chat, even though you don't really like them, there's something about them, you know, that is just enjoyable. Anyway, so he comes in for the hug, and then we chat, and we're talking, and we're just like, and it's, again, there's still a little bit of that awkward nervousness that's kind of there, but it's a lot more subdued than where it had been, which I was really grateful for. And we very quickly, like, hit it off. And then, I think later, like, that night, we went out to, like, dinner, and we just hung out and talked and chatted and did the whole shmemery, you follow me? We just talked, and it was really, really fun. I really had a lot of fun. Like, we got to talk about things we had done, people we had, like, talked to, like, things, like, in the community. We talked about you guys. I was like, oh, yeah, I can't stand everybody watching my streams. And Quackity was like, oh, yeah, me too. No, I'm kidding. I was like, I love all the people who watch my streams so much. They're the best. And Quackity was like, well, I hate them. No, he was like, yeah, I love those guys too. All we did was say nice things about you guys, so don't worry. We were very enthusiastic. We've shared very, like, similar, on a lot of things, we had very similar, like, kind of viewpoints on a lot of stuff as far as, like, I don't know, it was just interesting, because I feel like we talked about so much cool stuff. Did I call him Quackity? I did. Which is weird, because our waitress gave us, like, this. Hey? Like, look, when we went out to eat at this one restaurant, and the waitress, when Quackity was so kind, he bought dinner. That little muffin head. I wanted to buy dinner, and he bought it, but he was very generous and very kind. And then he goes and, what's the word? He's flipping the little muffin head. He buys, and I'm like, Quackity, no! Like, you don't have to do that. And then the waitress, she didn't say anything, but I could tell. She was thinking, she's like, oh my goodness, these people and their names that Quackity. She was, no, I'm kidding. She probably didn't think that. But anyway, I was very much like, okay. And so we had fun, we chatted, we just hung out for a little bit. And then I'm like, all right, man, like, this was really fun. I really enjoyed, like, talking. You ready for the stream tomorrow? And then, like, as soon as we, like, dipped for the rest of that night, like, I was immediately like, oh my goodness, like, we still have to stream tomorrow, right? And I had, in preparation, because we were meeting up, like, at a separate, like, location. I didn't have my whole setup. He didn't bring a setup. But, so what I had done in preparation is I put together a computer. I built a computer specifically for this travel. Like, literally specifically just for this. And I brought it, and it survived the journey, thankfully. But we get to the location, right? So we get to where we're going. Or when we were at the place, we had it was a place, we got a place to stream at, right? A hotel to stream at. And we went into the location. It may not have been a hotel. It may have been like a mutual acquaintances let us borrow a room somewhere. And I just died. Son of a muffin. Dang it. So we go and we're borrowing this place. We're streaming from this one location, right? And I'm like jumping ahead. So we set up the stream setup. Thankfully, everything survived the journey. I was really really nervous about that chat. Like, you have no idea how nervous I was that, like, the computer would break and it would be all for naught. I had my laptop still, so we had a backup option, but I was not looking forward to, like, running up to Walmart and buying a whole streaming setup. You feel me? That would have been like, oh my goodness, that would have been so annoying. But thankfully, everything survived.